Hello there. My name is Sarah Nozick-Thompson. I am 23 years old and my hometown is Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. I think that I am Canada's next great Prime Minister. Let me tell you why. Politicians are elected and by definition are therefore by the people, for the people. In order to make Canada a stronger country, our politicians must first remember this. Not everyone has forgotten it, but we must work together instead of bickering with one another over menial issues which delay the improvement of our government. This is only the beginning of what I want to bring back to our Canadian government. It would bring strength to our country by re-engaging Canadians politically, which in turn would alter our government, ultimately transforming it into what it should be, the voice of the Canadian people. Once the government is more representative of its citizens, we can begin to resolve current problems and address issues that the average Canadian more commonly faces. Poverty, homelessness, the cost of education, and the cost of health care are some of the relevant issues that Canadians are currently dealing with. But it does not stop there. The list goes on to larger issues, bringing to mind our country's economy and the care of the environment, not only on Canadian soil, but also worldwide. If the government listens to the people and begins the proper representation of them by doing various things, including creating a more state-sponsored education system designed not only for the academically strong and rich students, but also for those interested in the trades or the arts, a stronger Canadian workforce that stays within the country would also be produced. By encouraging students who are easily forgotten by the education system to pursue becoming a carpenter, an oil driller, anything at all which they aspire to become, we can begin to improve Canada socially and also economically with this highly trained workforce. We must not forget funding for single-parent households, for persons with disabilities, and for those who need housing or addictions programs, for they play a large role in helping improve Canada socially as well. We must also take more care of the environment. Many Canadians would like to see our country begin to improve the level of care we take of our environment, and if it is what our citizens want, then our government must respond appropriately. Sure, it is a costly matter, but do we want our grandchildren to enjoy the same natural luxuries and healthy lives that we have worked so hard for? Or would we rather burden them with our mistakes by beginning to improve the state of our environment too late? As for the economy, our current times are pretty tough. I am no economist, but I believe that it is important to ensure that all Canadians are financially secure. We must also ensure that the government uses funding wisely with the interests of all citizens in mind. Simple tax cuts may seem great at the moment, but they are not helping to keep funding public health care and other social programs, which are all a part of that which we have come to take for granted. It is also important to remember international relations when dealing with our economy, as we are greatly affected by the current state of the United States economy, our greatest trading partner in the business world. We could also look at broadening our relations with our European counterparts to further Canada's economic growth. The federal government must also work with each provincial and territorial government as the issues faced from province to province vary. As Canada is a large and vast country, not all social, economic, and political problems will be the same from region to region. By improving federal, provincial, territorial relations, we can create a stronger whole government, which is representative of all of its citizens. The reformation of our government would also include a re-evaluation of our Senate, which would aid in strengthening Canada politically. If the Senate is to be representative of the Canadian population, should the senators not be elected by the Canadian people instead of appointed by the Governor-General on advice of the Prime Minister? I also believe that too much money is being spent on the lieutenant governors and commissioners in each province and territory. Since they do not have any political power, as they are the Queen's representatives in the province or territory, and are also appointed by the Governor-General by advice of the Prime Minister, we could look at removing them completely. Before I go on too much, I think that's enough for me for now. I am only one person, one Canadian, and as such, only one of 30 million voices in this great country. I hope and wish that even as one person, I can help bring all Canadians closer. From the fishing boats in Newfoundland to the frozen lands of the North, together we can strengthen our country socially, economically, and politically. Canada is already great. Let us make it greater.